Hello folks, Jason Chrisman here, Grazing Acres Farm, and what we're looking at here is, I believe it's a 97 7635 New Holland. And if we look here on the sticker or the tag, it is a 7635 DT, and this particular model is made in Italy. So it's been a little contrary to find any information on this bad boy, but our fuel injection pump has been leaking for a couple years. There's a little weep hole on the outside, and when it starts to kick diesel out that, it needs rebuilt. And it's been weeping out that hole for a few years now. I've actually rigged up this little canister to catch the diesel as it's dripping out, so I'm not wasting it. But it's time to get that fixed before it just stops working right in the middle of winter when I need it to feed hay. So to do that, I need to take this to the mechanic, but the mechanic has requested that the loader be taken off. Now, I've never had this loader off, and as I already mentioned, this tractor being from Italy, it's a little hard to find any information about it. But I did happen to find one little form that talked about this loader, and what they said on there, and I'm just going to highlight it here real quick before we do it. There's these little saddles right here. You take this bolt out, and then these are already pretty loose, so I just got to loosen them up a little bit more. Take this nut out, this saddle will drop down. You do that on both sides. And then if we look at this loader arm that's coming down here and how it comes down, here's what I noticed. This bar actually connects right here and comes across and up to the other side. But if we look at it from the side, right under here, there's a plate, and there's a plate on top, and the crossbar is actually sandwiched between them. So, and then if you read here, towing here will pull the front end loader support out of the pocket, causing damage and possible injury. So, this little pocket is holding this up, which lets this drop down from what I gather and sit on the ground to hold the loader up. Now, my original thought was to do this close to a tree so that I'd have something to anchor the loader to put it back on. But I'm going to attempt, and I started to do this at the house because I figured a lot of tools were needed, but the only tool I need is to loosen them saddle bolts, and I've got that socket in the tractor. But in this particular form that I found where they talk about taking this loader off, they specify that the bucket is on there, and that's the only reason that I've brought it back up here to take it off at the farm. My thoughts are is the bucket's probably heavier and will help this sit the way it's supposed to. So we got to take this spear off, put the bucket on, and then we'll go and see if we can do this as it's instructed. Alright, so here's the bucket. And get some of this grass off of it so we can see the pockets where it's supposed to go. Okay, so now the instructions say to loosen these saddle bolts, or take the nut off of the saddle bolt. Let that flip back just like so. We'll do the same on the other side. Trying to do this in a place where this will be out of the way. Oh no, don't tell me I took my ratchet out. Oh good, didn't need it. So the only other tool we need is a knife to cut the zip ties on the cables going up underneath the tractor. All right, so I'm gonna have to pull up the instructions on my phone, which is in the Honda. I've never done this before, so I'm probably going to be out a bunch just checking the progress of this front. We'll see. So I put downward pressure on the bucket, got these to slide back to the back, sitting on the saddle, and now our front channel has fell out of that pocket and has cleared this lower mount. There's the channel it goes in. Clear to the back of the saddle. So now we'll do the next step. Oh. You can see the arm is now lowered out of the pocket and touching the ground almost. All right, following the instructions seems to have worked. So the next thing we need to do is disconnect the hoses and pull away. We're resting on the ground. Comes up. We've cleared our saddles. Looks good. Get that down there out of the way. So the hoses we need to disconnect are right back here, but they are cinch tied to the bottom of the tractor to keep them from catching on anything. So that's going to be the next step. Crawling under here and fixing that, or undoing that. All right, so we're going to come right up here, cut this cinch tie, pull it out here and set it so I can pick it up. And let's see that string. And there's another one right here. All right, so the cables are now officially unstrapped from the bottom of the tractor. Now we need to go to the rear and unplug them and get the tractor out of here. So this is not something I've had to do before. Disconnect these hoses. It seems you put a little pressure in and then a quick pull out. I've got two here that's giving me a little bit of a problem. I don't want to go in. So for 2 days, I battled getting two hoses, two of the 4 hoses, unhooked from the tractor. I used a full can of PB Blaster and just kept soaking them and soaking them and soaking them. The problem started out being that there was a lot of debris that got behind the connection and it wouldn't let me push it in. The PB Blaster flushed all that out, and then it still took a lot of time and tinkering to get them hoses disconnected. I ended up discovering a little trick, and I'm going to share that with you instead of sharing the whole adventure of trying to get those hoses disconnected, because this isn't a hose disconnection video. This is a how to take your loader off video. So I'm just going to show you what I did to get those hoses disconnected. So I just got it out, folks. Let me show you what I did here. And I'm not going to plug it back in all the way. That was in there like that. I took this hook, dropped it up and around like that, and it actually grabs on the wrench fitting part of the nut. Then I pulled it out here like this, took my hammer, wrapped it in there a couple times, and then just gave it a good yank, and she popped right out. So there you go. Nice little trick. And another purpose for your tow strap. All right, so now we need to fish these cables over the axle and out and lay them on the ground. All right, so you look down there on the ground. I've got all the cables fished over the axle. Now they're up and around this support arm. So we're going to take one by one. Oh, there's another cinch tie there. We're going to get our knife. We're going to cut that cinch tie. And now we'll pull the cables over, or the hoses over one by one. I know I've referred to them as cables a lot in this video, but they are hoses. They are not cables. And there's still a string down there on this one. They are hoses. All right, so now the hoses should be out of the way. I guess I should pull them over this way so when I back out, I'm not driving over them. And then I probably want to take these ends, get them up off the ground while this is being stored, sitting like this. So we'll arch the hoses up over like so. And I did just have one of the covers fall off down here. Right here. I want to keep that bad boy. All right, got all my tools. I'll lay them here in the Honda. And now we'll move the tractor. It's my first trip. This is the first time I'll see it without the loader on it. This is going to be funny. Boy, it looks so small. I feel so little. So here it is, just the bucket, or the loader. holding itself up on its front end. Very cool. Very cool, New Holland. So I got some hoses on this to replace. This hose here on the other side leaks when I put a bale of hay on it. Doesn't leak when I have the bucket or the spear on it, just when I add a bale of hay. So that one there, right here, it needs replaced. And I've also been concerned with a couple of them that's up here on the front. This one I replaced a couple years ago. This one here probably desperately needs replaced. Same with this one. So we'll get the parts we need to fix that. In the meantime, let's walk over here and look at the tractor without the loader on it. So now what I want to do is I want to give it a good washing, a power washing. So I'll probably take it back to the house to do that before I take it to the mechanic. I need to take this rear spear off. He doesn't need that. And I want to clean it out. I got some twine and some mineral bags in there, but I think a bath is kind of important. Got all that winter mud caked up under the bottom. Yeah, it looks totally different without the loader on it. I know the owner has never seen it without the loader on it, and he bought it from the person that owns this land, and I'm sure she's never seen it without the loader on it. Very cool. That was pretty easy to take off. Now, I have heard some horror stories about putting it back on and getting everything to line up, but that'll be a different video once we get this back. And here's why the mechanic wanted the loader off. Right there is the fuel injection pump, right here. And it goes up that way. So it's a pretty big unit. I'd say it's probably up to here, and then all that. So it'll make it a lot easier to work on. So I hope this video has helped you on the 7310 New Holland loader. I know I did a lot of searching on the internet, and luckily, very, very luckily, I found that forum that gave a very good description. So I've included the snapshot of that article in this video, and if you need to resort to it, feel free to just go to it and hit pause and read all the steps. It's pretty easy. Now, we'll see how it goes when we go to put it back on. I have heard some horror stories about things not lining up or being in the appropriate place, so it takes some finagling. But I will be bringing that video to you once we get the tractor back. If you enjoyed today's video, smash that thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, please take time to do so, and click on that little bell so you can be notified when new videos are released. Thanks for watching Grazing Acres Farm.